Welcome to a new lecture, and today we are going over non-permissible values in rational expression. Non-permissible value or NPV is that value where it leaves the denominator equal to 0. So we can't have 0 in the denominator. Like in this question here, 3 over x cannot be equal to 0. Because if we get a 0 in the denominator, it becomes an undefined term. So non-permissible value basically means that in the denominator, those values of the variable that leads it to a 0 denominator. So the rule that we follow here in non-permissible values is we always factorize the rational expression, and before cancelling out, we find the non-permissible value. So it is very important that the non-permissible value is found out after factoring and before cancelling. Let us go over a question here. 4m over 2m square minus m. So it will become 4m over m times 2m minus 1. We can take m common in the denominator. There is nothing common in the numerator, so it will stay as it is. So m times 2m minus 1 cannot be equal to 0. So first we will put 2m minus 1 cannot be equal to 0. So 2m cannot be equal to 1. Dividing by 2 on both sides, m cannot be equal to 1 by 2. And the second one is straightforward, m cannot be equal to 0. So the two non-permissible values are m cannot be equal to 1 by 2 and m cannot be equal to 0. If we put 0 here, the whole denominator becomes 0. If we put 1 by 2, so it will be 1 here, 1 minus 1 again becomes 0. So we cannot have 0 in the denominator. Now, because we have found out the non-permissible values, now we will cancel out the terms. So 4m over m times 2m minus 1. So m and m can be cancelled out here. The final answer is 4 over 2m minus 1. Another question here where we are using difference of square formula. So 3x square over x square minus 81. This can be changed into x square minus 9 square, which is equivalent to the formula a square minus b square, a minus b times a plus b. So it becomes 3x square over x minus 9 times x plus 9. So x minus 9, x plus 9 both cannot be equal to 0. So x cannot be equal to 9 and x cannot be equal to negative 9. So we will just put it as x cannot be equal to plus minus 9 here. In the next question here, we will be factorizing numerator and the denominator. We are factoring the trinomial here. So in the numerator, 6n minus 12, 6 is the GCF. We are left with n minus 2. 6n divided by 6 is n. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Now in the denominator we have 2n square plus 5n minus 4n minus 10. Because 10 times 2 is 20, factors of 20 which are equal to plus 1 are plus 5 times negative 4. 5 minus 4 is plus 1 and 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. So negative 10 times 2 was negative 20. On taking the common factor, we are left with 6 times n minus 2. n times n plus 5, negative 2, n plus 5, n plus 5 is common, so we will take it common. 6 times n minus 2, n plus 5 times n minus 2. Again be very careful because here n minus 2 is common, but we will find the non-permissible value first and then we will cancel out the terms. So it will be n minus 2 times n plus 5 cannot be equal to 0, so n cannot be equal to 2 and n cannot be equal to negative 5. On substituting both the values, we can see that any value, like if n is equal to 2 or n equal to negative 5, we will get 0 in the denominator. Now we will solve it further. Again rewriting the same expression here. 6 times n minus 2 over n plus 5, n minus 2, n minus 2, n minus 2 gets cancelled out. We are left with 6 over n plus 5. That's the final answer. In these type of questions, we have to take sometimes negative 1 or another negative factor common in order to cancel out the terms. But first we will be finding the non-permissible value. So 1 minus x over x square minus 1. Again we will be using difference of square formula. So 1 minus x over x minus 1 times x plus 1. Taking negative 1 common, it will become x minus 1 over x minus 1 times x plus 1. But before cancelling out these two terms, let us find non-permissible value. Putting denominators equal to 0 because they are factorized. X cannot be equal to plus minus 1 and now we will cancel it out. So we took negative 1 to cancel out the terms. We are left with negative 1 over x plus 1. So the last question here, we have 7 times m square minus y square over m square minus 2my plus y square. Difference of square formula 7 times m minus y over m plus y, and this negative 2my can be broken down into negative my minus my. On taking the common factors in the denominator, m common from here, you will get m times m minus y. Taking negative y common here, you will get negative y times m minus y. On further factorizing it, 7 times m minus y times m plus y, taking m minus y common from both terms, we are left with m minus y times m minus y again. So the non-permissible value will be m cannot be equal to y, because if we put y equal to m or m equal to y, we will get 0 in the denominator. And now we can cancel out these two. We are left with 7 times m plus y over m minus y. So I hope this lecture clears the doubt for cancelling the terms and also finding the non-permissible value. Thanks for watching.